If you walk into Best Buy with $2,000 for a television, there is a path the store is built to walk you down, and it burns approximately $500 in value compared to what the measurement data actually supports at that budget. The store is not doing this maliciously. It is doing it because the default path maximizes the transaction in the way their floor is arranged, their sales incentives are structured, and their inventory is displayed. You have $2,000. There are 3 combinations available at that budget that deliver substantially better picture quality per dollar than the retailer default. None of them involve buying the biggest panel on the floor. Subscribe before we go further. Next week, I am covering something specific. A $900 mini LED head-to-head against a $1,800 OLED in a real home, not a lab. And the result surprised the reviewer who ran it. And here is today's comment. Are you spending the full $2,000 on a panel, or would you split it between a slightly smaller television and an audio upgrade? Drop your answer below, because the split question changes this recommendation significantly. The retailer defaulted $2,000 for a television is roughly this. An 85-inch mid-tier QLED or LED set at $1,800 with $200 left over for whatever accessory the associate can suggest at the register. RTings consistently documents the performance trade-off in large mid-tier sets. An 85-inch QLED without mini LED backlighting typically uses between 200 and 500 local dimming zones. At that zone count, local dimming is a marketing feature more than a functional one. The zones are too large to prevent visible glow around bright objects on dark backgrounds. The result is a television with adequate brightness for sports and bright content, acceptable colors, and contrast performance that mid-range mini LED at significantly lower prices has clearly surpassed. You are paying for screen area. The picture quality per square inch is meaningfully lower than a smaller premium panel. Samsung's mid-tier Neo QLED line at the 85-inch size uses their local dimming technology. But as CNET's panel analysis notes, the component budget that delivers strong performance in a 65-inch frame is thinned considerably when it has to cover 85 inches. The dimming zones are the same count in a larger physical space, which means each zone covers a larger area of the screen, which means the precision of light control is reduced. A bright logo on a dark background shows more halo on an 85-inch mid-tier than on a 65-inch with the same zone count, because the zones are physically larger. The retailer knows this. The associate at the floor knows this. The incentive is to move inventory in the size that earns the margin the store needs, not to match you with the combination that serves your viewing habits. Here is what $2,000 actually buys in 2026, and why none of the 3 best combinations look like the store's default path. Combination 1, 75-inch TCL QM7K at $999. Tom's Guide confirmed the 75-inch TCL QM7K at $999 in February 2026, cleared from its original $1,999 MSRP. This is the same mini LED technology as the 65-inch QM7K covered in last week's video, in a 75-inch panel at a price that was the 65-inch MSRP at launch. At $999, the 75-inch QM7K delivers 2,500 local dimming zones, 3,000 nits of peak brightness per TCL specification, 144 Hz native refresh, Dolby Vision IQ, and Google TV. RTings placed it among the best mid-range TVs of 2025. You are getting a premium-tier mini LED television in a 75-inch format for half the $2,000 budget, leaving $1,000 for audio, a mount installation, or reserve. At this combination, the $2,000 budget viewer spending $999 on a television and $300 to $400 on a soundbar, a TCL Alto or Sony HT-A3000, ends up with a system that outperforms the 85-inch QLED default on picture quality, audio, and overall viewing experience. The retailer default gives you a bigger but visually inferior panel with no audio upgrade. This combination gives you a premium mini LED panel at a better size for most rooms and meaningfully better sound. Combination 2, 65-inch LG C5 OLED at $1,399. The LG C5 65-inch is currently $1,399, down from its $2,699 launch price. Tom's Guide and Tech Radar both gave it 5 stars in their 2025 reviews. It earned those ratings for a specific reason. In a room where you control the lighting for evening viewing, the C5 produces a picture quality at $1,399 that was only available at $2,500 or above 3 years ago. The Alpha 9 AI Gen 8 processor is measurably superior to the processing in every competing television at this price, according to RTings calibration testing. Full Dolby Vision IQ support means Netflix, Disney+, Apple TV+, and Amazon Prime Video all deliver their best available picture quality on this panel automatically. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, 144 Hz native, 0.1 milliseconds response time. The C5 is the reference benchmark for what $1,400 buys in 2026. At $1,399, the C5 leaves $600 of the $2,000 budget available. A Sony HT-A3000 soundbar runs approximately $499. That combination, 65-inch LG C5 OLED plus a premium soundbar, for $1,900 total, outperforms an 85-inch mid-tier QLED with no audio at $1,800. For viewers who watch in controlled lighting conditions, the picture is categorically better. The sound is categorically better. The total cost is lower. The caveat is the same as every OLED recommendation on this channel. In a bright room with ambient light competing with the screen, the C5's brightness ceiling limits its advantage. The LG C5 is the right choice for controlled darkroom viewing. The TCL QM7K at 75 inches is the right choice for a living room with windows and mixed lighting. Combination 3, 75-inch Hisense U8QG. The 75-inch Hisense U8QG currently runs approximately $1,497, within the $2,000 budget with room left for audio. Tech Radar measured it as the brightest of the 2025 mini LED tier they tested, with higher peak and full screen brightness than the TCL QM7K in their lab measurements. Anti-reflective screen, 3 HDMI 2.1 ports, Google TV, strong HDR color volume. At $1,497, this combination positions a 75-inch flagship-tier mini LED at roughly the same price as the 85-inch mid-tier default, with demonstrably better picture quality per square inch and the brightness headroom to handle any room lighting scenario. Both the TCL QM7K and the LG C5 are linked in the description using Amazon affiliate links. No extra cost to you, and that is how this research stays funded. Before the verdict, the one question about budget allocation that changes this recommendation. A $2,000 all-television purchase and a $2,000 split between television and audio are two completely different decisions. Modern televisions at every price tier ship with speakers that are technically functional and experientially inadequate. A 75-inch mini LED delivering reference-grade HDR picture with the downward-firing drivers built into the cabinet is a mismatch that every reviewer who covers home theater consistently flags as the most under-addressed variable in television buying advice. The picture quality receives 100% of the marketing budget. The audio receives the component cost that was left after the panel, backlight, and processor were spec'd. Spending $1,500 on a panel and $500 on audio does not produce a lesser experience than spending $2,000 on a panel. In most living rooms, it produces a significantly better one. The improvement from a dedicated soundbar, even a mid-range $300 to $500 model, is perceptible on the first evening of use in a way that the incremental brightness improvement from upgrading a panel tier is not. You notice better audio immediately. You notice the panel upgrade only when comparing side by side. If the $2,000 budget is inflexible and audio is already handled separately, existing soundbar, receiver, separate speakers, the 75-inch QM7K at $999 clears the budget question and leaves $1,000 in reserve or for other components. If the budget is for the complete television experience, the LG C5 at $1,399 plus a $499 Sony HT-A3000 is the combination this channel's evidence supports most strongly for viewers prioritizing picture quality and sound equally. Verdict in one sentence: the $2,000 TV mistake is spending the full budget on the largest mid-tier panel the retailer will show you, when a 75-inch TCL QM7K at $999 or a 65-inch LG C5 at $1,399 delivers better measured picture quality with money left over for audio that makes a perceptible difference every day. 3 checks before you buy. First, measure your viewing distance before committing to a screen size. A 75-inch panel at 8 to 10 feet is typically the right balance for most living rooms, and the push to 85 inches at mid-tier quality costs you picture performance you will notice over an 85-inch premium panel at 12 feet. Second, before buying a new 2026 model at MSRP in any of these sizes, check whether the 2025 equivalent is available on clearance. The TCL QM7K 75-inch at $999 from $1,999 is the clearest current example of this principle in action. Third, if your primary evening viewing involves ambient light, choose the mini LED. If it involves controlled darkroom conditions, choose the OLED. Those 2 room types have different correct answers, and both are available under $1,500 from the models in this video. Your $2,000, all panel or split with audio? Drop the plan in the comments.